Hey everybody, welcome back to your practice. Welcome especially to our members and those watching on our YouTube channel. Today we've got a slow flow yoga class and we're going to go through a few hip opening poses toward the end of class. So go ahead and head onto your mat and we'll get started. All right, go ahead and come on up to the top of your mat. And we'll just go through a few sun salutations here at the top. And then we'll go through a few standing poses, and then, like I said, we'll get into some more hip opener work once we get toward the end of class. So as you come up to standing, let's bring the big toes to touch. You can separate your heels a little bit, and take your hands to your heart. You can close your eyes. And let's try to find that deep breathing. So you just want to breathe in deep, in and out the nose. And then as you do, the air rush against the back of the throat. So it starts to make a little bit of noise there once you get it going. And flex your quads. And then keep that core active. Draw your navel in. So relax the shoulders and take just a couple more rounds of breath. And with your next exhale, relax your arms. Open your eyes, inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold, hands reaching down. Take your hands to your shins, lift up halfway. Exhale, stepping to a high push-up. And draw your navel in. And then see if you can lower down, try to hover here in a low push-up, Chaturanga Dandasana. Press through to upward facing. You want to lift the knees and your thighs off of your mat. And take it back over the toes. Good. So first downward dog here. You just want to set up until it feels natural to you. So in general, you start with your feet hip width, shoulder width apart there for the hands. And if that doesn't feel right, you can go a little bit wider there with either one of those if you want. And pedal the feet. So you just bend one knee, bend the other. You can go back and forth here a couple times. The heel of the straight leg, you're trying to reach it down towards your mat. Just get a little deeper stretch there to your calf. And I'll take one more round of breath here. Press both heels down. Bend your knees, look forward, step the feet up. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, hands to center. We're just going to do about 3 of those today. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step to plank. And lower down again. Inhale to your back bend, upward facing. Downward dog, exhale. So again, you can make those same adjustments there if you need to. You can get back into the pedaling the feet as well. And then bring your awareness to your hands. Try to spread the fingers wide, pressing your palms down into the mat. And then broaden the shoulders. And make sure that breath is loud enough to where you can hear your own. And bend the knees, look forward, step the feet up again. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, back up. And exhale, hands to your heart. One more round on your own. So once you get the downward dog, you just hold there for 5 breaths. And then you can, again, finish that sun salutation out. And once you're finished, we'll stay here at the top of the mat. Drop your gaze to your fingertips. And take a few rounds of deep breath here. And then go ahead and turn around, face the long edge of your mat. So you want to have your legs about one of your legs distance apart. Again, that'll be a pretty good place to start. Open your arms out wide. And let's turn the right foot away, pivot the left toes in. And looking to that right middle finger, deep breath in. And then on the exhale, reach with your right hand. We'll take triangle. So I like to just take the hand as far down as the hamstring tells you it's okay. So if you reach down too far, again, it pulls too much, and you always want to back off a little bit. And then maybe you stay there, and as the body opens up, you might work that hand down a little bit lower. And you only got to take it as far as it takes to get into that stretch. Don't have to reach down to the floor. And inhale, come back up. Pivot on the heels. We'll take that left foot toward the front of the mat. And looking to the left hand, inhale. Exhale, reach forward on this side. And you're pretty likely to have different range of motion between sides. So again, what worked on one side might not be quite possible there on the other, or it could be a little bit easier. Just try to pull that right hand a little further back and see if you can look up toward that right thumb. And inhale, come back up. Parallel the feet. Take your hands to your hips, and then let's set it for a revolved triangle. So we're going to take that right foot toward the back of the mat. Square the hips off, and then tilt the tailbone down toward the floor, root down to that back heel. And then bend the front knee. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, take it forward, and let it drop down to the floor on either side of the foot. And then as you start to pull the right side of the hip back, you can lift the right arm up once you've got your balance. And square the hips off. And focus gaze to one spot there to help with balance. Again, if you need to, you can always use a block. We're going to work through a pose in a little bit that'll be a bit easier with a block. So if you've got it and you want to use it here for your twist, use a prop at any point that you want. Exhale, look down, release. Inhale, come back up, open the arms. Let's take the hands to the hips, set it for the other side. So left foot toward the front of the mat. Bend the front knee. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, reach forward. Again, aim to pinky side. And come into your twist. Lift the left arm overhead. And keep grounding down through that back heel. Reach that left arm up and then pull the shoulder a little bit further away. And take just a few more deep breaths. And exhale, look down, release the hands. Inhale, come back up, open your arms. And release, take your hands to center. So if you don't have a block, go ahead and grab it. If you don't have a block, don't worry about it. You can make do without it if you need to. But like I said, half moon's a little bit easier with it, I find. So once you're set up, you take that block to the right side of your mat. Legs out, again, about one leg's distance. Let's open the arms. We'll turn that right foot away, left toes pivot in. And looking to that right hand, take a breath in. And then as you exhale, go ahead and bend your right knee. Take your left hand to your hip and then reach with your right hand. Let that right hand find the block. You want to slide the left leg up, trying to find your balance just on that right leg. With your left leg, flex your toes to the side, lift the leg up a little bit higher. Roll that left shoulder open and then lift the arm up. And again, draw the navel in. So your gaze looking to one spot, keeping that core active, your breath, and try to maintain those same three things there, and that'll help balance. Through next exhale, slowly start to bend that right knee. See if you can land back in warrior B. And straighten the leg, parallel the feet. And we'll take that block, set it up on the left side. Turn the left foot away, right toes pivot in. Deep breath in. Exhale, bend the knee, reach forward, right hand to hip. And let's try half moon on this side. So once you set up here, again, your fingertips on the floor or on that block, it's roughly underneath the shoulder. And you want it about a 45-degree angle, something diagonal from that pinky toe side. And if it feels unbalanced, see if you got your hand or your block too close to the foot. You want a little bit of space there to help with balance. And let's try to keep lifting that top leg up a little bit higher here. Take another breath. And then on the exhale, slowly bend that front knee, land back in warrior B. Straighten the leg, parallel the feet. Grab your block again. You may or may not want to use it for revolved half moon. So we'll take the block to the right side of the mat, but on the left side. So it'll be on the big toe side of that right foot. And then set up just like we did for a revolved triangle. So got the hips squared off, block big toe side of foot. And then bend down into your right knee. And take your hands to center. Take a breath in. Exhale, hinge at the hips, release the hands down, and then we'll lift the back leg up. So again, that left hand's gonna go to the block or gonna go to the floor. Your left toes are flexing down towards your mat to get started, and then you turn them to face that right thigh. You try to squeeze the legs in toward one another, and then you build your twist. And try to lift the right arm up. And you always got that option to have a small bend in that standing leg. And one more deep breath in here. And with your next exhale, look down. We'll take the right hand to the floor, land the left leg back to where you had it, bend the knee. And inhale, come all the way up, warrior A. Straighten, parallel the feet, hands to center. And let's try that on the other side. So set your block up, take the hands to the hips, and square the hips off to get started. And bend the left knee this time. Good, hands to center, breath in. Exhale, hinge, release the hands, lift the back leg. So go ahead and come into revolved half moon here. Once you start to rotate that foot in, you squeeze the thighs. That should keep the hips more or less pretty level there. And again, lift the left arm up whenever you're ready. Deep breath, keep lifting that leg, squeeze the thighs in, keeping that core active. And exhale, look down, release the left hand to the floor. Bend the front knee, land the right leg to the back. Inhale, warrior A, come back up. And straighten the leg, parallel the feet. Take your hands to center. We'll set that block off to the side, just beyond the front of your mat. Open the arms again, bend the knees, step the feet back together. But we're gonna go through just a couple balance poses. First one, tree pose. So start with the left leg. You want to fan the toes, bring them back down, create a solid base there with that left foot. And then the right foot can stay on the floor, or if you want, you can bring it up to your calf, or we'll skip the knee, bring it to the inner thigh. The knee's gonna start to pull back a little bit. The hands will come to center. And then your gaze is focusing somewhere out in front. Something's not gonna move on you. And with your next exhale, go ahead and release. We'll set that down. And then let's try the other side. So same thing, create a solid base there with the right foot. Pick the left foot. Again, it might have to go up to a different spot than you had on the other side. And that's completely okay. And going for about 5 rounds of breath here on each side. Finish that next exhale up, and then you can release. So this next balance pose you can do from standing or you can do from seated. I'm going to show you the standing version on this leg, the seated version on the next one. If you have any sort of knee issues, any knee pain, any knee stress when you get into this pose, and then make sure you don't ignore it, come down, do the seated version. That one's a bit easier to control. So if you got your block, we're going to take it in front of the feet. You're going to bend that left leg a little bit. You want to pick your right foot up, flex your foot, and your ankle is going to go to the outside of that left thigh. So again, we only get the stretch here in the outer hip into the glute, similar to what you would get in half pigeon. Make sure it's not here. If you want to go down a little bit lower, you can. It's just like you're going to sit in a chair. So your hips go back, your chest goes forward. You might find that the elbows rest there on that thigh and the heel, or if the hand can go down a little bit further, again, you got your block and you want to use it, take the right hand to the block. If you can drop down far enough, you're going to have your tricep in front of your shin. And then the sole of the left hand presses against your left palm, presses against the sole of your right foot. And then as you start to bend that standing leg a little bit more, the shin is going to press against the back of that right arm. And that should create a deeper stretch there on that right side. And hold here for just a couple more rounds of breath. And again, if you need to do the seated version on both sides, again, I'll show you how to do it here in just a second, and then you can pause the video, you can do both sides there on your own. Let's go ahead and come back up. Set it down, release. Again, if you want to do standing on the other side, and you're going to start on the right leg, you're going to pick the left foot up, you're going to flex your foot, cross it over, working your way down to the degree that is appropriate for that hip and the knee. So if you're going to do from seated, just come down, take the hands behind you a little bit, lean back, and you'll hook your right ankle to the outside of that left leg. So the further you have your foot away, the easier this one should be, the less demanding the pose is going to get. So slide it further away if you need to. If you don't really feel anything in your hip and your knee still feels okay, you can start to adjust yourself in a little bit closer. So try to keep your chest lifted and make sure that the foot is flexing here on the left leg. And if you're doing standing version, you can lower down a little bit. You might find that left hand on the floor or on the block, and your right hand would go to the sole of the left foot. And again, there's a little bit of resistance. Your foot presses into the hand presses into the foot. Your left shin presses in to that left tricep. So we've got a lot going on there in standing. If you're in standing, to get out of it, go ahead and come back up. If you're seated, we'll just bend the elbows a little bit, lean back, take the legs out straight. If you were in standing, go ahead and make your way down into a tabletop. And again, we'll do the same thing if we were already down on the floor. We're going to work through cat and cow for just a little bit, and we're going to spend a bit more time here on hip poses. So let's go through cat and cow a little bit. Take a breath in, look up. You want to let the belly relax here. And then as you exhale, press the floor away, round your back, and draw your chin to your chest. Again, inhale, look up. Exhale, rounding over, and core is active here in cat. Inhale, look up. And exhale, arch. So we'll take just a few more here on your own. I'll do one more round. And let's release, come back to neutral. Take your hands more toward the front of your mat. And we're going to work through half pigeons. So we'll bring that right knee toward the outside of the right wrist. We're going to try to slide that left leg a bit further back here. So again, just like in that last hip opener pose, and the only place where the stretch is okay is here in the hip, not in the knee. So if this is okay, you can lower down a little bit. If it's bothering your knee, again, it's causing stress, you're going to lean all the way over into that right side, and you're going to adjust the legs until you got about 2 L shapes here. And you lean as far as it takes over into the right side until this knee drops down into the floor. And this should be, again, a little bit less demanding, a bit more accessible. So take that version if you want. That's a pose that we would usually do in our yin class called collapsed swan. So see if you can start to slow your breath down or just take it a little bit deeper. And try to inhale to a count of 5 or 6, about 5 or 6 seconds on the inhale, and then exhaling for the same amount of time that you took breath in. And try to get it even there if you can. Let's go ahead and come back up to the hands. Then we'll curl those back toes under, lift the knee, take that right leg back to downward dog. So when we get to downward dog, let's kind of pedal the feet, bend one knee, bend the other, and go back and forth here a few times. And then drop your knees down to your mat. Let's go ahead and set it for the other side. So half pigeon, or again, maybe you're doing collapsed swan, depending on what the knee feels like. And you can adjust the right leg back if you're doing half pigeon. And I'm going to do collapsed on this side. So I've got the legs bent, and then I'm leaning as far to the left side as it takes for this knee to drop. And then we'll go ahead and fold forward. So collapsed version, if you're doing the one with the bent legs, you're pretty much folding over the thigh in this position. If folding over the thigh doesn't get into the hip enough, and it's possible it couldn't, then you want to start to fold, instead of over the thigh, fold maybe down over your calf, closer down toward that ankle, closer toward the foot, and try to go that way. And go ahead and make your way back up. Let's come back to downward dog. And we'll pedal the feet again for just a few breaths here to counter. And kind of go back and forth, side to side. And then go ahead and come through, lie down on your back, and we'll pull the knees into the chest. So take one more hip opening pose here. So pulling the knees in, adjust until they're about a 90-degree angle or so. And we'll take a twist, drop the knees over to the right. You can take your right hand, let it rest against the outside of that left leg, left arm opening to the side. And you can look to the left, or if that bothers your neck to do that, just look straight up. We'll bring it back up to center. Again, about a 90-ish degree angle. And change sides. Drop the knees to the left. We'll open that right arm. And if you want, you can, so I usually do about a 90-degree bend in the arm. It can make it easier to relax the shoulder and could give you a little stretch here along the chest. Let's release that, come back up to center. And then take your legs out long. We'll come to relaxation. Got just a few more minutes here of class. We'll come into rest. Palms face up either side of the hips. Let's close the eyes, relax. Take your time, start to make your way back up to seated. And if you got longer than half an hour for your practice, stay in Shavasana just as long as you like. Thanks for practicing and great rest of your day. Namaste. Remember, if you want to join, you want to get access to the videos earlier, you can practice live, you can practice on demand right away instead of 2 weeks later on YouTube. head over to theyogamat.com. You can also scan that QR code that's coming up in just a little bit. See you next time. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that class. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to get a new short form class every week. And if you like what you see and you want to support me, go become a member at theyogamat.com. You'll get unlimited live virtual classes every week and access to our on-demand library with over 500 classes in it. Have a great day. Namaste.